This video is educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor named Sir Roldal Anardines to use this as an educational material. Good day, sir. Good day, cadets. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Alexon Loan. To welcome you to our report entitled Sustainable Development Goal.
Hello everyone, I am Cadet Timakutak and I'm going to discuss about the history of the SDGs or the Sustainable Development Goals. In 1972, governments gathered in Stockholm, Sweden for the United Nations Conference on the Human Environment to discuss the rights of families to a healthy and productive environment. In 1983, the United Nations established the World Commission on Environment and Development, later known as the Brundtland Commission, which defined sustainable development as meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. The United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, or the UNCSD, also known as Rio Plus 20, was held in 2012 as a 20-year follow-up to UNCED. Colombia proposed the idea of the SDGs at a Rio Plus 20 preparation event in Indonesia in July 2011. This idea was picked up by the United Nations Department of Public Information 64th NGO Conference in Bonn, Germany in September 2011. The final draft provided 17 Sustainable Development Goals and targets. There was a lot of debate regarding the SDGs in the run-up to Rio Plus 20. Member states agreed on a resolution known as The Future We Want at the Rio Plus 20 conference. Among the primary themes agreed upon were poverty eradication, energy, water and sanitation, health and human settlement. The 1992 Rio de Janeiro United Nations Conference on Environment and Development was founded on the idea of sustainable development. The conference was the initial global effort to formulate action plans and strategies for shifting toward a more sustainable pattern of growth. The SDGs were developed at the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil 2012. The idea was to establish a set of global objectives relating to the political, social, and economic problems that humanity is currently facing. In this way, the UN replaced the 8 Millennium Development Goals in 2015 by selecting, by a vote, 17 goals that might be used to improve the entire globe. These goals were then promoted as the Global Goals of Sustainable Development for the years 2015-2030. The Sustainable Development Goals are a commitment that aims to solve the world's most pressing issues, and they are all connected. They serve as a worldwide call to action for addressing the challenge of climate change in a sustainable manner, improving how we manage our limited natural resources, fostering inclusive societies, reducing inequities, and boosting economies.
Hi, good day. I'm Cadet Lon Alexon, and my topic is all about SDG 1, no poverty. So, first, what is the meaning of no poverty? No poverty means that everybody has enough money for their basic needs. SDG 1 calls for the eradication of poverty in all its manifestations. It envisions shared prosperity, a basic standard of living, and social protection benefits the people everywhere, including the poorest and most vulnerable. The goals seek to ensure equal rights and access to economic and nature resources. And the importance of no poverty is the rise in poverty is not only an affair and threat to the integrity of millions of people, but it also heightens inequality, which in turns weakens social cohesion and severely hampers economic growth. So these are the challenges of no poverty. Its manifestation including hunger and malnutrition, limited access to education and other basic services, social discrimination and exclusion, as well as the lack of participation in discussion making. So, how can we achieve no poverty and sustainable development? In order to achieve the SDGs, we must target those living in vulnerable situation, increasing access to basic resources and several services, and sports communities affected by conflict and climate related disaster. Ending poverty is one of the 17 global goals that make up the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. I think that is all. Thank you.
My topic is all about Sustainable Development Goals number 2, Zero Hunger. The Sustainable Development Goals aim to end all forms of hunger and malnutrition by 2030, making sure all people, especially children and the more vulnerable, have access to sufficient and nutritious food all year around. Solving global hunger requires a comprehensive multi-stakeholder approach to reverse the environmental degradation that threatens global agricultural production. Simply increasing the volume of food production will not achieve food security. More effective approaches include strengthening the agricultural sector with field functional farming markets, advancing rural development, and boosting ecological conservation initiatives. Coordinated efforts aim towards improving access to technology and land, increasing income from smallholders farmers, and facilitating additional farming-related investments strengthen farming communities. Sustainable development's improvements in counteracting the possibility of future extinctions requires conservation of genebanks holding and stores genetic resources. Rapid economic growth and increased agricultural production over the past 2 decades has seen the proportion of undernourished people drop by almost half. Many developing countries that used to suffer from famine and hunger can now meet the nutritional needs of the most vulnerable. Central and East Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean have all made huge progress in eradicating extreme hunger. These are all significant achievements in reaching the targets set out by the first millennium's development goals. Unfortunately, extreme hunger and malnutrition remains a huge barrier to development in many countries. 795 million people are estimated to be chronically undernourished as of 2014, often as a direct consequence of environmental degradation, drought, of loss of biodiversity. Over 90 million children under the age of 5 are dangerously underweight, and 1 person is every 4 still goes hungry in Africa.
Hi, this is Engine Cadet James L. Dianco, and I'm going to explain the Sustainable Development Goal number 3, Good Health and Well-Being. Ensuring healthy lives and promoting the well-being for all at all ages is essential to sustainable development because our health and well-being are influenced by the settings which we live. Not all but many of that is caused by pollution and environmental issues. In fact, more than 90% of the world population breathes unclear air. The air quality level that do not meet the recommendation of the World Health Organization or WHO, and overweight adults is the biggest problem worldwide. Health is not only about clinical services such as hospitals. It is all about health directive in all policies. Cities can be designed to provide well-being and care. Thus, many local governments have already taken actions to bring about good health benefits. Raising awareness for communities for prevention and promote healthy lifestyles, improving services including health services, waste management, hygiene, food chains, water and sanitation, putting people at the center of the transport planning, responding to the needs of all citizens, improving the quality and safety in public spaces to favor mental health, physical activity, and social. Improving road safety and management traffic to reduce injuries and casualties. So, sustainable development number three can be applied to young and old people. We have many ways to keep a good health and have a long life. One example is doing exercises such as jogging, yoga, and sports. Healthy diet is also a way to improve our health. A good environment is also good to our well-being because the less the air pollution, the more the fresh air which our lungs needed. But that's not all. Protecting the common goods such as soil, water, air, and natural environment. Soil is very important for us to plant trees to reduce the carbon in air and to reproduce oxygen. It is also important to have good soil in order for us to have good vegetables and fruits which can provide us nutrients. A clean water and air is necessary to have good health, and the natural environment is free of which is free of air pollution is also very important. The natural environment must be accessible to all people to for them to do exercises. Sustainable development number three is to ensure healthy well-being and foster well-being for all ages.
Everyone, I am Engine Cadet Jefferson Ogurial. I'm going to explain the quality education. So since 2000 there has been enormous progress in achieving the target of universal primary education. The total enrollment rate in the development region reached 91% in 2015, and the worldwide number of children out of school has dropped by the almost half. So there has always also been a dramatic increase in literacy rate, and many more girls are in school than ever before. These are all remarkable successes. Progress has also faced two challenges in developing region due to high level. So, poverty, armed conflicts, and others emergencies in Western Asia and North Africa, ongoing armed conflict has seen as increase in proportion of children out of school. This is a worrying trend. While sub-Saharan Africa made in greatest progress in primary school enrollment among all development region, from 52% in 1990 up to 78% in 2012. Large disparities still remain. Children from the poorest household are 4 times more likely to be out of school than those of the richest household. Of disparities between rural and urban areas also remain high. So, achieving inclusive and quality education for all reaffirm the belief that education is one of the most powerful and proven vehicle for sustainable development. This goal ensures that all girls and boys complete pre-primary and secondary schooling by 2030, and also aims to provide equal access to affordable vocational training and eliminate gender and wealth disparities with the aim achieving universal access to quality higher education. So, quality education is one of 17 global goals that makes up the 2030 agenda for the sustainable development. An integrated approach is crucial for progress across the multiple goals. That's all.
So, good everyone. This is Cadet Arnold Funot Jr. and my topic is gender equality. So, gender equality is one of the main goal of UN. So, SDG 5 or gender equality is focused on achieving the main objectives of real and sustained gender equality in all spheres of the lives of women and girls, which includes eradicating gender disparities, eradicating violence against them, ending early and forced marriage, ensuring equal participation and opportunities for leadership, and ensuring universal access to sexual and reproductive system. So some of the goals of SDG 5, so end all forms of discrimination against women and girls everywhere, whether are not legal frameworks are in place to promote enforcement and monitor equal and non-discrimination on the basis of sex. Then eliminates all forms of violence against all women and girls in public and private spheres, including trafficking and sexual and other types of exploitation. So it promotes proportion of every partnered women and girls aged 15 and older subjected to physical, sexual, or psychological violence by current or former intimate partners in the previous 12 months by the form of violence by age. Next is eliminate all harmful practices such as child early and forced marriage and female genital mutilation. So promotes proportion of women aged 20 to 24 years who are married or in a union before age of 15 and before age of 18. Proportion of girls and women aged 15 to 49 years who have undergone female genital mutilation or cutting off by age. Then, recognize the value of care and domestic work through the provision of public service, infrastructure, and social protection policies, and promotes of shared responsibilities within the household of the family as national appropriate. So, proportion of time spent and unpaid domestic and care works by sex, age, and location. Then, ensure women full of effective participation and equal opportunities for leadership to all levels of this decision-making, political, economic, and public life, proportion of seats held by women, national parliamentary, local governments, proportion of in marriage position.
Hi, I'm Deck Cadet Patrick Obalda, and today I will be discussing the clean water and sanitation. So, access to safe water and sanitation and hygiene is the most basic human need for health and well-being. Billions of people lack access to these basic services in 2030 unless program is multiplied. So, demand for water is rising owing to rapid population growth, urbanization, and increasing water needs for agriculture, industry, and energy sectors. Decades of misuse, poor management, over extraction of groundwater, and contamination of freshwater supplies have exacerbated the water stress. In addition, countries are facing growing challenges linked to degraded water-related ecosystem. Water scarcity caused by climate change, underinvestment in water and sanitation, and insufficient cooperation on transboundary waters. To reach universal access to drinking water, sanitation, and hygiene by 2030, the current rates of progress would need to increase fourfold. Achieving these targets would save 829,000 people annually who die from diseases directly attributable to unsafe water, inadequate sanitation, and poor hygiene practices. And the goals of this movement is these are the most common goals: to achieve universal and equitable access to safe water and affordable drinking water for all, and by 2030 achieve access to adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene for all, and open defecation, paying special attention to the needs of women and girls and those in a vulnerable situation. Improve water quality by reducing pollution, eliminating dumping, and minimizing release of hazardous chemicals and materials, halving the proportion of untreated wastewater, and substantially increasing recycling and safe reuse globally. By 2030, substantially increase water use efficiency across all sectors and ensure sustainable withdrawals and supply of fresh water to address water scarcity and substantially reduce the number of people suffering from water scarcity. Implementing the integrated water resources management at all levels, including through transboundary cooperations as appropriate, and protect and restore water-related ecosystem, including mountain, forest, wetlands, rivers, aquifers, and lakes. So that will be all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I'm Cadet Abelyari J, and my topic is all about affordable and clean energy. Affordable and clean energy seeks to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. This means doubling the global rate of energy efficiency improvements, as well as substantially increasing the percentage of renewable in the energy. Renewable energy solutions are becoming cheaper or more reliable and more efficient every day. Our current reliance on fossil fuels is unsustainable and harmful to the planet, which is why we have to change the way we produce and consume energy. Implementing this new energy solution fast as possible is essential to counter climate change, one of the biggest threats to our own survival. So, by the 2023, the target everyone can help to make sure that we meet the global goals. Use these 5 targets to create action to ensure survival. Universal access to sustainable energy. By 2023, enhance the international cooperations to facilitate access to clean energy research and technology, including renewable energy, energy efficiency, and advanced and cleaner fossil fuel technology, and promote investment in energy infrastructure and clean energy. So things to do: switch off your appliances of the socket, turn off the lights when you're not using them, turn off your air conditioning, especially for sleeping, and use open window instead. Buy rechargeable electronics don't buy or use one battery. The fourth one, don't use multiple devices at the same time. Use solar energy sources or install solar panel in your home. And stay informed, follow your local news, and stay in touch with the global goals.
So good day, I am Tech Cadet Terry John Alfred Terry. At this portion, I am going to present the Sustainable Development Goal of the United Nations, which is the decent work and economic growth. So, sustaining inclusive economic growth can drive progress, create decent jobs for all, and improve living standards. So COVID-19 has disrupted billions of lives and endangered the global economy. The International Monetary or the IMF expects a global recession as bad as worse than in 2009. As job losses escalate, the International Labor Organization estimates that nearly half of the global workforce is at the risk of losing their livelihoods. So even before the outbreak of the COVID-19, 1 in 5 countries home to billions of living in poverty were likely to see per capita incomes stagnate or decline in 2020. So now the economic and financial shocks associated with COVID-19, such as disruptions to industrial production, falling commodity prices, financial market volatility, and rising insecurity are derailing the already tepid economic growth and compounding heightened risk from other factors. So one of the targets of the United Nations decent work and the economic growth is that the sustained per capita economic growth in accordance with the national circumstances, and in particular at least 7% gross domestic product growth per annum in the least developed countries. So next is to achieve higher levels of economic productivity through diversification, technological upgrading, and the innovation, including a focus on high value added and labor intensive sectors. Next is promote development-oriented policies that support productive activities, decent job creation, entrepreneurship, creativity, and innovation, and encourage the formalization and growth of micro, small, medium-sized enterprises, including through access to financial services. So next is to improve progressively through 2030 global resource efficiency in consumption and reproduction, and endeavor to decouple economic growth, environmental adaptation in accordance with 10-year framework program, sustainable consumptions, and the productions.
SDG 9, the Sustainable Development Goals. Industry innovation and infrastructure. Build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. A functioning and resilient infrastructure is the foundation of every successful community. This will bring prosperity, create jobs, and make sure that we build stable and prosperous societies across the globe. The targets are everyone can help to make sure that we meet the global goals. Use these 8 targets to create action to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. Number 1. Develop sustainable and resilient and inclusive infrastructure, including regional and transborder infrastructure to support economic development and human well-being with a focus on affordable and equitable access for all. Number 2. Promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and by 2030 significantly raise industry's share of employment and gross domestic product in line with national circumstances and double its share in at least developed countries. 3. increase access to financial services and markets, increase the access of small-scale industrial and other enterprises, in particular in developing countries, to financial services including affordable credit and their integration into value chains and markets. 4. Upgrade all industries and infrastructure for sustainability. By 2030, upgrade infrastructure and retrofit industries to make them sustainable, with increased resource use efficiency and greater adoption of clean and environmentally sound technologies and industrial processes, with all countries taking action in accordance with their respective capabilities. Number 5. Enhance research and upgrade industrial technologies. Enhance scientific research, upgrade the technological capabilities of industrial sectors in all countries. In particular, developing countries, including by 2030, encouraging innovation and substantially increasing the number of research and development workers per 1 million people and public and private research and development spending. Number 6. Facilitate sustainable infrastructure development for developing countries. Facilitate sustainable and resilient infrastructure in development in developing countries through enhanced financial, technological, and technical support to African countries, least developed countries, landlocked developing countries, and small island developing states. Number 7. Support domestic technology development and industrial diversification. Support domestic and technology development, research, and innovation in developing countries, including by ensuring a conducive policy environment for inter alia industrial diversification and value addition to commodities. Number 8. Universal access to information and communications technology. Significantly increase access to information and communication technology and strive to provide universal and affordable access to the internet in least developed countries by 2020.